Okay, we got our drawer. What I did is I cut the pegs off and I sanded them flush. I made a bottom and I stapled it in. So now we have a drawer made up. It fits in there halfway decent, but what I need to do is put my runners in there so that when I pull my drawer in and out, it doesn't do one of these. You kind of want to make it sure it goes in and out somewhat correctly. So we're gonna put these little pieces of plywood in here to allow the drawer to slide in and out without wobbling back and forth this way. To do that, we got to use these little screws, 1 1/4 inch drywall screws, and we're going to put them in through right here. Obviously that's pretty tricky. So what I'm going to do is take this big 1/2 inch drill bit, drill a hole through the upper web frame, and that will allow me to put a screw through, it'll allow me to put my impact driver bit through the hole, thread my screw through the bottom piece here, and then it's kind of not the easiest thing to do in the world, but it's doable. So I'm going to get my screw or my piece of wood situated where I want it to be, and then drive that screw in. All right, well, takes a little bit of futzing with it here. And then I did it to both sides. Make sure my drawer fits where I want it to fit, and then put the back in once I know my front fits. So it's just a bunch of me putting screws in the piece of wood, so I'll do that off camera, make sure it all fits, and then we'll come back to it. I got my little runners in. Now I gotta put my drawer front back on. So I had to trim this up a little bit so it fits in there. It's a little bit too tight. You can see that the grain matches. Actually, let's keep playing with this a little bit. It's still a little tight, but I want to attach the drawer front before I trim off more of this, so it's going to be a little tricky to pop this out. So let's check the grain here. No. Yeah, that's good. So that's where it came out, I think, yeah. All right, so now we're gonna attach the drawer front. So what I'll do is put a little piece of this double-sided tape on the drawer front, and that'll help me line up the drawer front to the box. So just a little piece of tape, kind of push it down there and then peel off the backing to expose both sides of the tape. So now here's a double-sided tape sticking on both sides, and we'll line up the grain again. What I'll do is push the drawer front onto the drawer box. And then I'm not sure if this is going to work because that drawer front is a little bit tight. It might not want to slide out on me, so I might just end up pulling the drawer front out by itself without the drawer box. Yeah. So let me try that again. This time I'm going to put the drawer box out a little bit so that my drawer front sticks out, and then push, bring it up. Okay, so it's not going to be a, I might need some more tape on this. Try a double layer of this tape. Let's try this again. And I'll push down a little bit here. Nope. So what's happening here is that the drawer, a little gap right here. A little gap. The tape isn't making contact with that little gap, so it's not going to secure. So I can sand this down so it's even, so the tape makes contact. Or try to align it without the tape, which is a trick that I used to do. Maybe I'll try that. So I'll get the supplies to try that out, and then I'll give it a go. All right, so the tape trick didn't work on this case. It might work on yours. Regardless, if a tape trick does work or not work, you're gonna have to screw in your drawer front to your drawer box. So I'm gonna do that right now anyway, and kind of show you a different trick in the process. So what I'm gonna do is put a 1/8 inch brad point bit into the drill, and then in the drawer front I'm going to use the drill body as kind of my guide to tell me where to put my holes. So right there, and then right here. Two holes here. And then what I'll do is take a countersink and countersink those holes so that my screw sits even with my wood. So once those are countersunk, I'll pop my screws in there. And I'll stick them up just so that the sharp point of that screw is sticking through the wood. And what that's going to allow me to do is align the drawer front by using the screw points to dent the drawer front on the backside where it wants to live. So let's see if this works. Okay, so far my tape trick didn't work. It might work on your project, but in case the tape trick doesn't work, we have this one. So here's what we have here, is we have a screw poking out of the front here and a screw poking out the front here, just a little bit. What that's going to allow us to do is put our drawer back in there, put our drawer front back on the way the grain lines up. Let's double check that again. I keep second guessing myself here. I think that's the way, yep. All right, so I got my drawer box installed, drawer front. Now what I'm gonna do is push it in there, and the screw tips are denting the back of that drawer front. And then with a soft hammer, I'm gonna give it a little tap on the workbench. All right, so now I have, it's more or less installed, more or less stuck there, but what I do have, more importantly, is my locations for my screws to live. So I circled those just so they don't get them confused. I'm going to take my little drill bit and drill about that much into the wood. Just don't go all the way through. And this is with an 1/8 inch drill bit. Okay, so now I got my drills, my holes drilled. I got to put this back where it lived. It should only go on one way. And then I'll take the impact driver and go ahead and put the screws in all the way. Got a little gap right here. So what I'm going to do is get a clamp that down, and then use the impact driver to take in that gap. So I'm going to back that screw out. Where that gap was. Take my clamp my drawer face down to my drawer box, make sure that gap goes away, and then take my screw gun and then we'll use that screw. So that same gap that's causing me the tape trick not to work is causing that little gap there. I think I'm just going to live with that one. And then probably would benefit me to get a shorter bit as well. So now with my drawer front attached to my drawer box, this is where you gotta cross your fingers and see how you did, and that looks pretty good there. I might have to sand that down just a touch, just to kind of even that out, but I have some glue marks there I gotta sand anyway. So that's the drawer box and drawer front installed. So you're all done with the drawer. All right.